Kaden, and then all of a sudden,
but I'm pretty sure it's one of the same people in here.
More days. I was so excited too. I was just like, bro, I'm poor.
Hi, our Visual Illusionists. I'm Shayna.
I'm Winona.
And we are starting a podcast we started a book club last year, and we decided that we just wanted to make it into a podcast, and here we are.
Yeah, this is our first ever episode. Our first ever mini episode, I guess we should say, because we are just reviewing the book series that really made us want to do this. And I'm really excited about it because this is such a good book series.
Yeah, it's so sad that this book series is over, but we have a really, really good series that we're starting next, which we are so excited to do. So the book series that we finished is the Remnant Chronicles, which starts off with The Kiss of Deception. I'll read the back for you. It starts off all dramatic. You know, she flees on her wedding day. She steals ancient documents from the Chancellor's secret collection. She is pursued by bounty hunters sent by her own father. She is Princess Leah, 17, first daughter of the House of Morgan. The King of Morgan is steeped in tradition and the stories of a bygone world, but some traditions Leah can't abide, like having to marry someone she's never met to secure a political alliance. Fed up and ready for a new life, Leah escapes to a distant village on the morning of her wedding. She settles in among the common folk, intrigued when two mysterious and handsome strangers arrive, and unaware that one of them is a jilted prince and the other an assassin sent to kill her. Deceptions swirl, and Leah finds herself on the brink of unlocking perilous secrets that may unravel her world, even as she feels herself falling in love.
And it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. I think I rated this one 5 stars on Goodreads.
Yeah,
I did too. I did.
Yeah.
It's tricky and it's misleading, and what's really fun that I don't really think I've seen before is the author, Mary Pearson, doesn't really tell you who's who at first. And so you have the idea, right? You have this, you're like, so you have these ideas and clues of like who is and like who one person is. She just paints it that way, and it's so fun. So many twists, secrets swirling, and it only just gets more interesting with every single book.
Yeah, and honestly, throughout the whole series, not just this book, but throughout the whole series, I kept forgetting Leah was 17. Like, even in the third book, I'm like, how old is this girl? Thinking she's like 20, maybe 22 or something like that. And then it's like, oh, she's like 17. I was like, wait, what? Like, she's 17 and she's going through all of these crazy things and making these giant decisions, like fleeing a wedding or, you know, whatever it might be. And she's 17. Like, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah. Definitely is like such a strong female character of just, you know, taking control of like her own life and her own story and setting the rules for herself, even when it came to disrespecting two kingdoms, you know, her own and the kingdom of the person she was supposed to be marrying. Like,
yeah.
Loved her.
Let me check to see what actual stars I gave this first book, because I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars too. It was really good. But it was definitely the least favorite, I think, of the series. That's not to say it wasn't good, obviously. It was so good. But it just kept getting better.
These books just kind of, like you said, they just get better and better and better. So it's like, I wouldn't say it's like the worst, but it is definitely, I think, like the least kind of exciting, just because the other books just have so much more.
Yeah,
it still is really exciting.
This is such a good book, and I think it almost is in a way slow, so to speak. Not that it's really slow, but like slower of a story in the first book, because she's living in this like dream idealistic world, and that's not to say that she's like being pampered or whatever, because she's working. But she's living in this like really nice world that she would prefer to live in if she could choose her life. And so that way it's like almost this, not dreamlike, but this like slow, happy.
Idealistic.
Yeah. I thought it was so good. So yeah, I did give this 5 stars. I believe I gave honestly all of these books 5 stars.
I think so.
I'm just looking at The Heart of Betrayal, which is the second one. I did give it 5 stars as well. So yeah, I gave all 3 of these books 5 stars, and I will say that but yeah, like the first book was good, had this huge twist that did not see coming. The second book was really good. She had to again flee and survive a really crazy situation that again was not expecting. Third book, amazing. There's war, there's like possible love triangle. All 3 books there's like love triangle, right? But she has to rise up to the occasion. Catch a break. What? Sorry.
I said girl could not just, she couldn't catch a break.
Literally, like, this poor thing just wanted to live her life and had to get thrown into all these crazy situations. But yeah, like, with all 3 books, it just got better and better. Usually with series, when there's more than just, like, 2 books, the middle ones are kind of lacking, right? Like, they're just kind of filling in the gaps, I guess. But this one, it just, like, kept getting better and better and better. So the third one, I think, is definitely my favorite.
Same. And the third book too is just so, it's like almost 700 pages. It's definitely the biggest, which totally needed because there's just so much that she's putting in here. And like 90 chapters, right? So definitely the most, I guess, jam-packed, but the most interesting, most, I think, kind of stressful because you're just like, what's gonna happen? Like, is everyone gonna be okay? Like, oh.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, I agree with you. My favorite as well. Like each book just gets better and better and better.
Yeah, and like, and none of them are bad though either. Like that's my favorite part. Well,
yeah.
I don't know favorite part. There's so many good things, but like each book is good on its own. But as the story progresses, it just gets more and more involved, as anybody would reading a story, right? You know the characters more, you know the stories more, you want to see what happens. And yeah, and you love each character. Like, it's not like, other than obviously the obvious evil ones, it's not like there's a character where you're like, oh, you're just annoying or something, right? Like, they're all really good.
And not only that, like, they all contribute something too, so it's like all important. So, oh, so good. I could talk forever about this book. Some tropes. So if you want to read it, found family, love triangle, forced marriage. You might gonna have to help me out.
A little bit of enemies to
lovers.
Yeah. There's definitely, you said found family already, right? Yeah. There is rebuilding said family that you ran from.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a trope, but like there's a lot of tropes.
Betrayal.
Betrayal. Duh.
Betrayal. I think it's a huge one. Yeah.
Oh, and also like a bit of magic. But it's that like knowing gift. Like, you know, that sixth sense or the fifth sense or whatever, right? Like those senses that you have where you just kind of know something, even if you have absolutely no proof, no like physical evidence, nothing. Like, it's just a knowing. Mother's intuition, you could call it for some, right? Like, it's just a knowing. Like, that's the type of magic that's there, and it's really cool to see how it appears in different people.
Right. Yes.
So magic and prophecies. There's prophecies. I'm trying to think about. There's literally so many. There's so much detail. There's so much
arranged marriage.
Yeah. Arranged marriage twice. There's 2 arranged marriages. Yep. I'm trying to think if there's even more than that, but I don't think so. Oh, technically there's 3, actually. The king. I don't want to like spoil things, but like the king, right? Like he. Yeah. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and with that found family and fixing said family that was broken before, when they come together too, that was a really cool moment. When you see them kind of become this one big giant family, so to speak. Yeah, and there's different like love interests. By that I don't mean like the main character has a ton of different people that she's like banging or whatever. I mean that like there are different couples in the book, and they're not the main characters, but there's just like this little side thing that just is so cute and so nice. That happens a few different times, so I like that
You
too.
just kind of love to see just like developing along the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so if you love like all of those tropes, and you love like just like witty banter and like a strong female lead character, and for me, what was really exciting is like the two love interests, like you really couldn't pick. Like you like kind of could because I myself was a Caden girly. Like I loved him, right? But it's like there wasn't one like obvious
Yeah.
choice for me personally. Like it's like it could go either way. Like she did great with both of them, but like I had my preference, right? I knew which one that I wanted her to end up with, which was, I think, just so fun, right? Because in most books I feel like I read, it's mostly just kind of like, oh, well, this is the obvious choice. And like, you know that this is the person that she's going to end up with. And
Mm.
it was kind of fun that for me, up until like almost the very end, I was like, well, it still could go the other way. So what's gonna happen, right? Like who's she gonna end up with? It was just kind of fun that a lot of stuff, like with according like that had to do with like the plot and that had to do with like love. I was like, well, I think it's gonna go like this way, but it still could go the other way. Like it just wasn't obvious at first.
Yeah, exactly. I think we were talking before, because when we read, we talk about these chapters that we read, right? And that's what this
Mhm.
podcast is about, is just talking and having this like universal book club. But when we were talking,
Mhm.
I think I said something about like feeling like a rag doll, because we would be towards this one love interest, right? Like Caden is amazing and blah blah blah. And my preference was Raph, right? But Caden's like amazing. And we're sitting there be like, oh my gosh, Caden. And then all of a sudden, like he does something dumb or some sort of situation, whatever. And then we're going towards Raph and like whatever, whatever. And again, she writes it way better than I'm
Yeah.
explaining it. It wasn't like her being like, I think I like him now. Like it was just simply the situations where there was a deep moment and they had a moment, so to speak. And so
Mhm.
then I literally felt like a rag doll. I was getting whipped back and forth and just being like, I don't know, I like them both.
So much whiplash.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's so accurate. Whiplash is a good, I think, a good explanation for these books. You should definitely just like, what is happening? Like going back and forth. You just don't know where you're gonna land.
It's so good. Yeah. Even honestly, even to like the last, was it like page, I think even, I didn't know what was gonna happen, right? Like it was really,
Right?
really good.
So good. Definitely this book series was so enjoyable. Um, and a really great precursor to its sister series, Dance of Thieves.
Yes.
Um, but
I said yes, and I was gonna say like, don't make the mistake we did.
because I think it makes more sense if you read the Remnant Chronicles first and then you read Dance of Thieves, which we didn't know. We didn't know this series existed, and we read Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves first, which I mean it still works, I guess, but you definitely are just gonna have to maybe like reread at the end just to like fill in all the like the little pieces and everything. But
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, the ending, I read it, right? And it was good. I liked the ending. But at the same time, I still
hmm
wanted to be like, no, but like, what else happens? Like, how does it work out? How does this
yeah.
thing get figured? Or how does this thing build up? Or like, whatever. And. And I just wanted to know more, but because I read the Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves first, like, and again, months ago, not like I read them the week before or something, I was
hmm
trying to connect the dots and I wasn't understanding, and it took me like a few hours to sit there being like, wait, but like, how does this work? And so if you read it, if you read the Remnant Chronicles correctly and then you read the Dance of Thieves, it will make so much more sense, and you'll be able to connect those dots way easier than I did on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely would recommend reading this series first, but both series are just incredible.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's time we introduce the book I'm really excited for and I keep harassing you about.
I was so excited too. I was just like, bro, I'm poor.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So the next series that we're gonna read is Once Upon a Broken Heart, and we have all three books, so we
Mm-hmm.
will be reviewing each book at the end, and you can read along with us as we talk about theories and guesses about what happens and how we like it, I guess how we keep going. So I'll read the back. And this one says, "How far would you go for happily ever after?" Which I don't know if I keep forgetting to tell you, actually. This is the same author who wrote Caraval, the Caraval series, which
Yes.
that I told you to read because it was also phenomenal. Um, and one of the characters in here, I think is, I'm not sure because I haven't read the book, but I'm pretty sure is one of the same people in here. So if that's the
Oh,
case, this is going to get
really?
really interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually have not read the wow, what's it called? Carnival
Caraval.
yeah, series. I want to. It's definitely on my list. But that will be
Mhm.
really interesting whether I read this one. Obviously, I'm going to read this one first, but reading this one first and then reading that at some point, like being
Mhm.
able to possibly connect to those characters, just like with Kiss of Deception has those connections, right? I think that'll be really, really
Yes.
cool.
And I actually, because you're like, I'm not even going to read the back yet, but I had read the back and I was like, and I saw his name and I was like, what? So I'm really excited. I'll read it.
Yeah, yeah.
So Evangeline Fox has always believed in true love and happy endings until she learns that the love of her life will marry another. Karma.
Excuse me.
Desperate desperate to stop the wedding, Evangeline strikes a deal with the charismatic, immortal Prince of Hearts. But she soon discovers that bargaining with the Prince of Hearts is a dangerous game. He has plans for Evangeline, plans that will either end in the greatest happily ever or the most exquisite tragedy.
That sounds so good.
Right? I'm so excited.
Ah, I love the drama when I don't have to live it. When I read about it, I love the
Right.
drama.
If this was me, if I was Evangeline, even just reading that, I'd be like, I don't want it. Like, but just reading it, I'm like, oh, I want this.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. So on Saturday, we're gonna upload our full first episode on Saturday, and we are reading. Are we reading 10 or 15 chapters? I don't remember.
I think starting today, we'll read 5 chapters a day. So
Okay.
that's like 15, I think.
Yeah,
Like today's
15.
Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to read with us,
Join our little book club because we have so much fun. And this girl is so
yes.
good at coming up with things that I literally don't think of, like, ever. I don't think I'd ever find these things on my own, but she finds things and they're so good. And I just sit there as she's talking, going, like, ah!
Same goes for you, girly, especially with this like latest book, the third book in the series, The Beauty of Darkness. Like she was just coming at me like left and right with all these theories, and I was like, I never even got there. Like, how did you? So,
I,
if you want to have fun with us,
yeah.
you love talking about books, theorizing, guessing, this is the place to be
Yep.
because this is what we love doing. And we spend so many hours a day just talking to each other and coming up with theories and guessing and just fangirling, honestly.
Yes, it's so much fun. Oh, and I will throw into, I forgot to mention earlier, the Kiss of Deception series, and I believe this one too are both clean. There is sex in there,
Oh, yeah.
but or at least with the Kiss of Deception, there's sex in there, but it like fades to black right before it gets
Yeah.
too much. So
And
I
it's not graphic.
no, not at all. I would honestly let
Yeah.
my 10-year-old sibling that I do not have read it, if I had one.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? So it's very clean. So if you have, teenagers that you want them to get into reading, but don't
Mhm.
want them reading like, smut or whatever, then those are good books to read. But we
Yeah.
do read an
Mhm.
array of books here. We're not just
Yeah.
clean people. But yes, I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
So,
Let's
yes.
get to it, I guess. I'm so excited to start reading today and to talk to you on our next time to podcast. To podcast.
I've been waiting for this moment a long time.
I know me. I like literally. I will like walk by my little bookshelf there and just like touch it
Stroke
as
it
I
like
go by. Yeah, like stroke it basically. Because I'm just like soon, my love.
My precious.
Just a few more days.
And today is that day, and I'm so excited. And we just have so many books on our TBR, and I know I have like a big stack by my bed of like books that we have like planned. Like we have the books we're gonna read, the order that we're gonna read it in, and so it's gonna be a fun, wild time, and we're so excited to do
Yes,
this with you.
so happy. So anybody else you know that would like to join any book clubs or just want to read books, but maybe they're not so social or whatever situation you're in, join us and we will take all your comments, all your theories, and possibly talk about them on here too. And we're so
Mhm.
excited to read with you.
And so we're excited to get this going and to read books with you. So, yes, thanks for tuning in. We
Yeah,
love
we
you
will see
and
you
we
on
appreciate you.
Saturday.
Waiting.
Bye.